Stanley had no trouble falling asleep, but morning came much too quickly. Every muscle and joint in his body ached as he tried to get out of bed. He didn't think it was possible, but his body hurt more than it had the day before. It wasn't just his arms and back, but his legs, ankles, and waist also hurt. The only thing that got him out of bed was knowing that every second he wasted meant he was 1 second closer to the rising of the sun. He hated the sun. He could hardly lift his spoon during breakfast, and then he was out on the lake. His spoon replaced fire shovel. He found a crack in the ground and began his second hole. He stepped on the shovel blade and pushed on the very back of the shaft with the base of his thumb. This hurt less than trying to hold the shaft with his blistered fingers. As he dug, he was careful to dump the dirt far away from the hole. He needed to save the area around the hole, for when his hole was much deeper, he didn't know if he'd ever get that far. X-Ray was right. The second hole was the hardest. It would take a miracle. As long as the sun wasn't out yet, he removed his cap and used it to protect his hands. Once the sun rose, he would have to put it back on his head. His neck and forehead had been badly burned the day before. He took it one shovelful at a time and tried not to think of awesome tasks that lay ahead of him. After an hour or so, his sore muscles seemed to loosen up a little bit. He grunted as he tried to stick his shovel into the dirt. His cap slipped out from the fingers and the shovel fell free. He let it lie there. He took a drink from his canteen. He guessed that the water trunk should be coming soon, but he didn't finish all the water, just in case he was wrong. He'd learned to wait until he saw the truck before drinking the last drop. The sun wasn't yet up, but its ray arched over the horizon and brought the light to the sky. He reached down to pick up his cat, and next to it, he saw a wide, flat rock. As he put his cap on his head, he continued to look down at the rock. He picked it up. He thought he could see the shape of the fish, fossilized in it. He rubbed off the dirt, and the outline of fish became clearer. The sun peeked over the horizon, and he could actually see tiny lines where every one of fish's bones had been. He looked at the barren land all around him. True, everyone referred to his area as the lake, but it was still hard to believe that this dry wasteland was once full of water. Then he remembered what Mr. Sell and Mr. Pendenski had both said. If he dug up anything interesting, he should report it to one of them. If the warden liked it, he would get the rest of the day off. He looked back down at the fish. He'd found Miss Miracle. He continued to dig, though very slowly, as he waited for the water truck. He didn't want to bring attention to his find, afraid that one of the other boys might try to take it from him. He tossed the rock and faced down beside the dirt pile, as if it had no special value. A short while later, he saw the cloud of dirt heading across the lake. The truck stopped it, and the boys lined up. They always lined up in the same order, Stanley realized, no matter who got the first. X-Ray was always in front of the line. Then came Armpit, Squid, Zigzag, Magnet, and Zero. Stanley got it line behind Zero. He was glad to be at the back, so no one would attention the fossil. His pants had very large pockets, but the rock still made a bulge. Mr. Pendenski filled each boy's canteen until Stanley was the only left. I found something, Stanley said, taking it out of his pocket. Mr. Pendenski reached for Stanley's canteen, but Stanley handed it the rock instead. What's this? It's fossil, said Stanley. See the fish? Mr. Pendenski looked at it again. See, you can even see all of its little bones, said Stanley.